Field notes. The Sleeper. Given everything we've seen, I feel pretty confident that the Sleeper and others with similar powers inspired a certain myth in Diné culture. Diné, by the way, is what the Navajo people call themselves. Sorry, my point being, one of their beliefs is that you don't talk about this type of evil shape-shifting creature. I don't personally believe you can be cursed from talking about something. Hell, I don't believe in curses, period. But, out of respect for their culture, I will refrain from using specific terms and will just describe this specific individual. And given that we never learned their real name or really anything else about them, I'll just continue to call them the Sleeper. The Sleeper was an individual, presumably human, who possessed a number of powers. The most obvious of these was the ability to change their shape to a degree unlike anything we'd ever seen before. Not only could the Sleeper change at will, but they could also choose what form they took with precise control, picking and choosing features from different animals. This last part was done almost exclusively to appear as unnatural and unsettling as possible. And, once again, the fact that such a power even exists is baffling to me. Even more so than the Lugaroo, the Sleeper was able to drastically change size, ranging from the size of a cat all the way up to something as large as a bear. I don't care how many crazy things we've seen, but that kind of change should not be possible. Maybe instead of a change in mass, there's a change in density? The mass could expand or contract depending on size. But, I don't know, that's complete speculation. Considering the constant shape-changing, I can't describe the Sleeper's true form. I don't think they even had a true form. So, with that in mind, I will simply describe how they looked in our final confrontation. The overall shape was humanoid, bipedal, 2 arms, 2 legs. Beyond that, nothing matched. The right leg was human, and the left leg was that of a large canine. Its torso appeared ape-like, with an exposed chest, but covered in brown fur otherwise. The fur covered its right arm as well, which was short and muscled, and ended with a dark-skinned human hand. The other arm was long and thin, with a humanoid hand whose fingers ended in long claws. Its head... I'm honestly having trouble here. The overall impression was that of an ape, but it also had slightly pointed ears, mismatched eyes, and a pair of antlers. The skin on its face and chest was pale and sickly. Its back was covered in spikes or quills, likely from a porcupine, and it had a short tail that resembled an alligator or crocodile. On top of this, literally, the Sleeper also appeared to have covered themselves in ritualistic markings. Its exposed skin on the left arm and right leg was covered almost entirely in white paint. Over that was a jagged black line zigzagging along each limb, and in the valleys of each zigzag were alternating red and yellow circles. I apologize if none of this is making sense, but that's sort of how it felt to look at them. Everything about the creature was off-kilter and asymmetrical. Even when they moved, their joints seemed to go in all the wrong directions. This form was definitely larger than a man, though it was hard to get a good estimate on size. If they had stood up straight, they probably would have come to just under 7 feet tall, not counting the antlers. Ordo agents reported seeing numerous other forms. Some of these included an elk with human arms and legs, a mountain lion with the tail of a rattlesnake, and a bear that had the head of a woman and an arm with bird talons. As unnerving as the shape-changing was, the Sleeper also possessed powerful mental abilities. Instead of innately affecting perception, as other cryptids do, they were able to outright control it, and amplify it so that even people like us who normally see cryptids couldn't notice them. They were also able to, I guess, pacify emotions is the best way to describe it. Lucas said he was always in control of what he was doing, but he ignored all the fear and alarm bells in his head that normally would have made him run away. I can't imagine how easy it would be to hunt and kill prey with an ability like that. Not that they needed any help. The scariest of their powers, or at least the one with the most frightening implications, is that they were somehow able to completely absorb the memories of their victims. This explains how they're able to perfectly mimic the look and behavior of those they've killed. I don't want to get all metaphysical and debate the existence of a soul, but maybe it's like... They say the brain is a computer, right? Maybe they were able to use the Enigma like a hard drive, copying the mental files or brainwaves or whatever they are and transferring them from one brain to another. But again, this is all just baseless conjecture on my part. In summation, I'll just say this. The sleeper is dead. And I hope to God I never run into another one of those things for as long as I live. End field notes.
The Cryptid Cases has been a production of Little Giant Monsters. Find out more about us at littlegiantmonsters.com and by searching for Little Giant Monsters on social media. Every Monday after a new episode, we share a cryptid sketch, so be sure to look out for that. If you're enjoying the Cryptid Cases and want to help support us, find us on Patreon. Rewards include behind-the-scenes content, early access to episodes, and access to our Discord. A huge thanks to all our current patrons. Links to our Patreon, our merch, and other shows we're creating are all available on our website or in the description of this episode. Another way to support our work is through ratings and comments on Apple Podcasts and other podcast apps. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you again soon.